Segment 1. The man in the protective suit stood still, controlling his breath, pulling the bowstring hard, making a squeaking sound with his mouth, successfully attracting a corpse using another corpse. At this moment, he wasn't a hunter, but in the apocalypse, survival was a necessity. He was old Black Eli, wandering this wasteland for 30 years. 30 years ago, a devastating war broke out on Earth, tearing a big hole in the sky. Many died under the sun's radiation, only a few survived by hiding in the shadows. Daytime activities required sunglasses, or else ultraviolet rays would blind you. Old Black was a lone wanderer, facing endless deserts and intense solar radiation daily, but a voice inside always guided him westward. Old Black arrived at a house, kicked the door open, and scanned the surroundings with his gun to ensure no one was there before searching for supplies. He reached the sink, but it ended in disappointment. In the apocalypse, water is the scarcest resource. Segment 2. But for Old Black, it was nothing new. He searched for supplies and found a large door. As he got closer, it suddenly shattered, startling Old Black. Behind the door was the owner of the room. Old Black noticed the man's shoes and quickly put them on, smiling happily and walking with a charming stride. He struck a match, set up a campfire, roasted some X meat, and ate it. Delicious. Then he used X oil to moisturize his lips, as it had excellent lip balm properties. Just then, a neighbor knocked on the door. Likely attracted by the aroma of his X, he cut a piece of X meat to share with her, then put on headphones to listen to music, wiped his body with wet wipes, sharpened his machete, loaded his gun, and took out a book to read. It was this book that brought her deadly trouble. Old Black spent a peaceful night. Segment 3. A ray of sunlight hit Old Black's face, waking him up. His MP3 was low on battery. It had been a long time since he felt this comfortable. Old Black walked to the window, enjoying a moment of sunlight before continuing his journey. At this moment, he heard someone calling. Looking over, it was a woman asking for his help, but Old Black cautiously scanned the surroundings, knowing that in this environment, people had lost their humanity for supplies. A group of bandits suddenly surrounded Old Black, seeking supplies and his flesh. The leader gestured at Old Black, who warned him, "Touch me again, and you might not get your hand back." The leader laughed dismissively, but all his underlings were terrified. The underlings surrounded him again, and Old Black slowly retreated into the shadows, like a shadow warrior, swiftly taking down all the underlings. He approached the leader, scavenging his belongings. Old Black left gracefully and continued his journey to a small town. The townspeople stared at him oddly. Old Black entered a shop, and the owner quickly confronted him, insisting he was not a bad person. But the owner didn't believe him. The next moment, the owner believed him. He just wanted to charge a battery. By now, it was a barter era, where a few wet wipes and a lighter were more useful than a horse. Old Black then went to a bar to exchange for water supplies, attracted by the smell of genuine leather gloves. On the colorful rooftop, Lao Hei the cat pushed away another cat, keeping it at a distance. This cat was fierce. Its owner noticed and approached to confront. Lao Hei apologized, not wanting trouble, but the owner persisted. Just as he was about to act, Lao Hei pinned him to the table. The man begged for mercy, but Lao Hei only warned him. Suddenly, the man collapsed. Realizing the situation was worsening, Lao Hei left without his drink. But just then, a few small-time thugs surrounded him. Lao Hei put down his backpack, took off his gloves, and muttered as if saying a final prayer for them. He drew his knife, and the fight began. Lao Hei was like a whirlwind, taking them down effortlessly. The sharp blade cut through them, and they fell like grass. A girl called to Lao Hei while the bar owner, Carnegie, observed. Rather than getting angry, Carnegie admired Lao Hei's skills. Segment 2. Carnegie looked at Lao Hei with newfound respect and directly asked him to stay and help. Lao Hei told him they were on different paths and that his goal was to head west. Carnegie said there was no rush to reply and that he could answer in the morning. That night, Carnegie arranged a place for Lao Hei to stay. It was a soft bed he hadn't slept in for 30 years. He even sent a servant with water and food, but Lao Hei refused it all. Nana begged Lao Hei to stay. If she failed her task, Carnegie would kill her mother. With no choice, Lao Hei let her stay. The kind-hearted Lao Hei shared his food with her and taught her to pray. The next day, Nana returned to her mother, but this action made Carnegie suspicious. It turned out Lao Hei had a book that Carnegie had long desired, a book that could change the world. Carnegie gained a lead and quickly sent people to Lao Hei's room, but he was gone when they arrived. Lao Hei was surrounded by the local big shots. Segment 3. Lao Hei had a mysterious book with him, a book with the power to predict the future and change the world. The local ruler, Carnegie, controlled the water and food supply, and everyone worked for him, but he knew that relying solely on resources wouldn't last forever. He sought to control minds through a legendary book, the prophecy of humanity's future. Obtaining it would grant him power over all humanity. Lao He was the guardian of this book, and his mission was to escort it to a Western sanctuary. Carnegie threatened Lao He to hand over the book, but Lao He ignored him. Carnegie ordered his men to shoot, but whether by luck or poor aim, they missed. Carnegie, enraged, ordered them to open fire. Lao He acted first. His shooting was precise, and Carnegie quickly took cover. When Lao He ran out of bullets, he pulled out a segment 4 gun and shot Carnegie in the thigh. Carnegie's henchman raised his gun, locked eyes with Lao He for a few seconds, then lowered it, knowing he was no match. Lao He walked away confidently while Nana watched him closely. He continued his journey with determination. Nana caught up with him, but Lao He, knowing the dangers ahead, refused her. He left Nana behind and continued alone. Unwilling to give up, Nana followed him. Suddenly, 2 cannibals appeared and captured her. Lao He arrived just in time to save Nana. She hugged him and cried. With no other choice, Lao He took her along. Meanwhile, Carnegie and his armed men were close behind. Lao He and Nana reached a wooden cabin. Searching for supplies, knocking on the door, no one answers. When they press the door lock switch, they fall into a trap. An elderly couple opens the door and questions them. Old Black says they mean no harm. Seeing Nana, they think she doesn't look like a bad person and invite them in for tea. In this wilderness, they can live well. Old Black is surprised. When they see the graves in the backyard, he realizes the old lady's hands shake because she's eaten too much human flesh. Old Black knows it's not safe to stay, thanks them, and prepares to leave. Just as they reach the door, Carnegie's men arrive, forcing them back inside. The old couple provides them with weapons. Carnegie shouts through a loudspeaker to hand over the book. They throw it out the window. Tunalang opens it and finds a timed bomb. A firefight ensues. Tunalang takes out a rocket launcher, blowing up the old lady. Then they bring out a Gatling gun. Shooting, the old man is also on the verge of death. After a barrage, they're captured. Carnegie threatens Old Black, but he's already indifferent to life and death. He uses Nana as leverage, forcing Old Black to reveal the book's location. After Carnegie gets the book, he suddenly shoots Old Black, who falls to his knees. Nana screams in agony. Old Black slowly rises. His acting is unbeatable, showing helplessness mixed with despair, then collapses. Carnegie and his men take Nana away. Tunalang happily plays with Old Black's knife. Nana takes out a rope, strangles the driver's neck, causing the car to lose control and roll over. Nana grabs a grenade and throws it at the following car. She plans to drive away, but Tunalang grabs her, pulls out the knife from his chest, steps out of the car, removes his sunglasses, seemingly pleading for Nana's life, then dies. Carnegie returns to town, opens the book, and finds it's all in Braille, which no one can read, losing his power. His men lose control of the town, and chaos ensues as everyone scrambles for water and food. Nana returns to the cabin to find Old Black gone. She heads west, searching for him, and finds him weak but determined, dragging a rope and moving forward. Nana takes him into the car, treats his wounds, and they travel across oases and oceans, finally reaching the place where human civilization restarts. Although Carnegie took the book, Old Black memorized it word for word over 30 years. He recites it to an elder, who records it all and prints it into a book, placing it carefully on a shelf. Old Black completes his mission and peacefully goes to heaven. Nana dons Old Black's clothes and gear, becoming a wanderer, continuing the path Old Black left. The story ends here. Denzel Washington truly deserves the Oscar. The scene where he gets shot is a masterclass in acting, with emotions so rich and on point, it left me deeply moved. The close-up during the conversation with the elder, showing his cloudy cornea, suggests Old Black's poor eyesight, making his reading of Braille books very plausible, highlighting his exceptional abilities. If anyone has thoughts on this piece, feel free to comment and exchange ideas. I'm Yu Yu, thank you for your likes and support. See you next time.